What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to HPA High Performance Agents. My name is Taj Howell, and for the last 9 years, I've been transforming people's lives in terms of fitness, in terms of mindset, in terms of business, in terms of production. And I'm here today back with High Performance Agents to discuss how to use past data to generate future results. This is something that is extremely important for people in real estate. It's important in any business, but I'm going to break it down into such a focused level for you to where you're going to be able to, after this meeting, go back and look at your data for the last month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, and accurately predict exactly what you need to do from a standpoint of lead indicators, in order to achieve the income that you want for the rest of the year. Okay. So stay tuned to this right now. Grab a pen and paper, take some notes, because this is going to be an absolute game changer if you're not doing this already. So first and foremost, what's a lead indicator? A lead indicator is a section of a goal. Okay. So let's talk about goals. Let's just say 500,000 in GCI in 2022. Let's say that is the goal. Okay. That's the goal. The goal itself is a lag indicator, because by the time that goal is achieved, by the time December 31st, 2021 comes around, you can't go back in time and change anything about that goal, right? So what you need to do is you need to break that goal down into its lead indicators. The lead indicators are the things that you need to do every month, every week, every day, every hour, every minute, every second in order to achieve the results that you want at the end of the year. Now, how do you calculate a lead indicator? First and foremost, the most important thing when it comes to real estate is understanding what your metrics are, the key metrics that you're trying to produce. So number one is listings, right? Number two is maximizing your sphere of influence, the people who know who you are. Number three is creating meetings and appointments with prospective buyers, prospective sellers, anybody who would potentially do business with you, right? So generating meetings. The fourth thing is networking and events. Okay. Networking is so massive. So if those are going to be the main areas that are the main things that are going to actually drive results in your business, obviously there's other things like ads, social media, right? I'm going to write that down actually. Ads, social media, right? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Essentially what you're going to do is you're going to take a look at previous data for each of those areas and see how much of that action you needed to take that generated one lead. Or one deal or one listing or one new partnership or one new relationship or whatever the hell you're looking to do. So essentially, let's start from the top and go down. So we talked about sphere of influence. So if you are maximizing your sphere of influence, you're connecting with the people that you know, friends, family, all that kind of stuff, right? How many people do you have to actually network with in your sphere of influence that's going to create one person to buy a home or one person to sell a home? So what you would do is you'd go back over the last 3 months, or maybe even go back over the last 4 months to the beginning of this year and look at, okay, hey, I have 200 people that I'm actively engaging with that are in my friends list, family group, and I've gotten 2 deals from that. So you know that 200 divided by 2 is 100. So for every 100 people influence you continue to engage with at your current rate, you should expect to get 1 deal. Okay. Same thing for listings, right? So if you're getting listings, let's say there's a million ways you can get listings, but let's just go down a few for newer agents, and then we'll go into more advanced stuff. So for newer agent doing door knocking, for example, I had a call with an agent yesterday. Okay. And he was talking about how he was wasting time. Because he would door knock 2 hours on the weekends, right? Like he would door knock on Saturdays. He would go with a lender. He would check for if people were pre-approved and all that kind of stuff and do his thing. He did that 4 times and he generated 1 listing out of it. Okay. And he told me that he was wasting his time, but he didn't have the right mindset. He didn't have the mindset that I'm teaching to you guys right now, because the mindset that he should have had was, hey, okay, cool. Well, I can go door knock with my past data for 8 hours, and it should generate 1 listing. That's what his current data suggests. Now, if he door knocks again, if he continues to door knock for another 100 hours and doesn't get anybody, then it was a fluke. But from previous data, we can apply that it took him 8 hours to get one listing. So he should at least door knock for another 8 to 16 hours to make sure that he can get that same result, right? So that's how you make generating listings predictable. Okay. It's the same thing when it comes to social media. So I see a lot of realtors posting on social media. Usually it's for sale, just listed, family in their new home, the normal, typical realtor stuff. But the question is, how much of that stuff actually drives results, right? If you were to go back for, let's say, again, the last 4 months, since January 1st, 4 or 5 months, if you were to go back in those months and take a look at how many posts that you made total, say it's 45, just as an example. Let's say it's 50, keep it simple. What you would do is, that you made 50 posts. Let's say you got one listing that ultimately turned into one transaction from making those 50 posts. You can accurately predict that it takes 50 posts based on previous data to create a sale from social media, to create a transaction, right? And so again, what you would do is you would go back to the last 4 months, take a look at past data and say, okay, how many door knocks, how much social media, how many phone calls, every single outlet or practice am I doing? How many deals did I get? What did those deals come from? And how can I actually take those, break them down, and distill them into the numbers that I need to have? So for example, you have those 200 people in your sphere of influence, right? How can you go about adding another 100 people in your sphere of influence to get one more transaction? That would be the first question. The second question, based on what we just talked about, would be how can I do extra door knocking each week or each weekend, whatever it is, to generate one additional listing, right? Or generate one additional buyer, whatever you're going for. Same thing with social media. How can I do instead of 50 posts over 4 months, how can I do 50 posts in 1 month? Because if I can do 50 posts in 4 months and get one listing, why couldn't I do 50 posts in 1 month and get the same result? Right? So now you start to understand, okay, these are my numbers that are currently working from past data from the last few months. These are the most accurate numbers that I can possibly find. And now what it's a matter of is distilling those numbers down into what you need to do every day to hit your income target. So let me teach you how to do that. So now that you know where you're getting your listings from, where you're getting your buyers from, where you're getting your opportunities from, where you're generating meetings, all that kind of stuff, because this can be applied to anything. Once you understand where you get those things, the next step is to set an income target for yourself. Okay. So again, let's just use 500K GCI as the income target, because I know a lot of my agents that work with me personally one-on-one, that is their minimum that they want to hit. They're looking for higher. So let's say that is the goal. From that, you're going to know how many transactions you need. I'm not even going to give a ballpark number because everybody's market is different for how large deals are and all that kind of stuff, right? So once you find how many transactions you need to create that GCI, then what you do is you divide those transactions by the amount of different ways that you generate listings and buyers and all that kind of stuff that we just talked about. Then from there, you can distill that down into a daily activity list that you must do 5 days a week, 7 days a week, 3 days a week, whatever the hell you want to do. If you're a part-time realtor, you shouldn't be, first of all. But if you are, then, right, you can do that. But what you're going to do is distill it down into exactly what you need to do every single day, no matter what, to make sure that that happens. So if it's 2 posts per day, 1 podcast 3 times per week, 2 hours of door knocking 3 days per week, 1 hour of cold calling 5 days per week. If it's boosting your best performing Facebook and Instagram posts to people in your area to give away a free lead magnet, how much money do you need to spend in order to get leads, first of all, and how many of those leads actually convert into listings or buyers? And how, you know what I'm saying? Like, how can you pinpoint exactly what needs to happen every single day? The goal would ultimately be to get to the point where you can say 2 Instagram posts per day, 2 hours of door knocking 3 times per week, 1 hour of cold calls 5 days per week, reaching out to my sphere of influence once per week with a newsletter, Let's say it's like cold calls, whatever the hell it is. All of the things that you're doing, you need to have an actual meticulous list based on previous data that will give you the results that you want to achieve. Right? Because at the end of the day, there's so many agents that want to hit their goals in terms of income. But the amount of times that I ask them like what their lead indicators are, what they're doing every single day to make that a reality and make it happen is a very, very small number. So you've got to, my kids just barged into my door. But until you get crystal clear on your previous data and start applying that and using mathematics and logic to really map out the trends of where you're getting listings and deals and transactions from, and then until you actually project that into the future, you're not going to take more action. Understand something. If you're not clear on exactly what you need to do to reach your goals, you're not going to take the action that's needed to get there, right? It's not going to happen. And so with that, what I want to do is I want to challenge you to sit down this week. I want you to really think to yourself, hey, what am I trying to do as far as income? What am I trying to do as far as GCI in Q2 and for the rest of the year? Am I on pace for that? If no, okay, what exactly have I been able to achieve? How many transactions exactly? Where do those transactions come from? Where did I get the leads? How many leads did it take from which sources? Break it all down. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take that amount of transactions that you need to hit your income target. And what you're going to do is you're going to take those metrics that you've achieved from your past data, and you're going to multiply that over the course of the next few months so that you can have an action plan, right? So that you can have an action plan. Now, one thing I want to bring up with this podcast, if you guys did not know already, I'm a performance coach for real estate professionals, for businessmen and real estate professionals. This is what I do every single day. I hold my people accountable. I hold them to a very high standard, and I help them get not only in amazing shape physically and mentally, but I help them develop the mindset they need to show up and do what the fuck they say they're going to do every single day. And I hate cursing. I don't like cursing on here, but it is something that I'm very passionate about. And I do believe that less and less people in this day and age actually do what they say they're going to do because of shiny object syndrome, because of the next best thing, because the grass is always greener, because of whatever the hell it is. And so if you feel as though you need accountability, first and foremost, join the High Performance Agents Facebook group, okay? We're growing at a rate of around 20 to 50 people per day, 20 to 50 agents and brokers per day that are joining that group, okay? And that's going to continue growing even faster as we continue marketing and bringing more people into that group. I want to create one of the biggest and baddest real estate referral and education networks on the planet inside of that group. If you're not in that group, you're seriously missing out. Go and join it. The link is somewhere around this video. The next thing that I will say is to those of you who are inside of my group right now, if you're watching this and you know deep down that you need accountability to get the stuff done that I am talking about, then reach out to me, book in a consult. Let's talk for 10 or 15 minutes and let's see if it's a good fit for me and my team to help you get to that next level. Because if this lead indicator stuff is blowing your mind right now at how powerful it can be if you actually sit down, do it, do the math, and multiply it over the coming months, then imagine what could happen if you actually did what you said you were going to do in the first place. I'm in a podcast right now.
I can't get into the bathroom and I need a diaper.
Okay. Guys, just give me one quick second. My wife is interrupting me in the middle of a podcast. Use a knife. Use a knife, okay? If you all know how women are, sometimes they get in your way, but that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Family matters. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. I really appreciate you. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so we're going to be doing the next episode of the podcast tomorrow. We have a special guest coming in, Mr. Patrick Okos, and he's going to be discussing transitioning from one market to a new market and how he completely rebuilt his network in a new market in an extremely short period of time and is now one of the top 6 agents in all of Toronto. It's going to be an amazing episode, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for that episode, and then we'll see you again on Friday as well. Take it easy. We'll see you guys soon.